A millionaire calmly analyzes his numbers in a public park when approached by a young girl who makes a disconcerting statement. With a firm voice, she says, "Sir, those calculations are wrong." He laughs, finding it absurd to receive financial advice from someone living on the streets. The laughter dies weeks later when million-dollar losses, angry clients, and an impending collapse prove that the girl was right. Now he must confront the question that could change everything. How did someone he dismissed see the disaster before everyone else? The Thursday afternoon in New York was stifling, with that characteristic humid heat of March, making people seek any available shade. In Central Park, Michael Anderson adjusted his glasses on his nose and flipped through the quarterly report printed on high-quality paper once again. At 42, he ran Anderson Consulting, a firm his father had founded 4 decades ago, which he had transformed into a national reference in the last 10 years. Michael had chosen that bench in the park deliberately. He liked to review important documents away from the office, away from constant interruptions, away from the anxious looks of the team waiting for his decisions. There, amidst the hustle and bustle of hurried passers-by, street vendors, and performers, he could think clearly. The noise of the city served as a strange kind of silence for his analytical mind. He drew another red line over the numbers on page 17. The results were spectacular. 30% annual growth for the 3rd consecutive year. His 5 largest clients represented robust investments in a sector that kept growing, technology applied to financial services. Projections indicated 6 more quarters of accelerated expansion. Michael allowed himself a brief smile of satisfaction. His father would be proud. That was when he felt a presence beside him. A small shadow partially blocked the sunlight hitting the open pages. Michael looked up, already preparing the polite yet firm phrase he used to dismiss street vendors. What he saw made his eyebrows arch in surprise. A girl, appearing no older than 12, stood less than a meter away from him. Her clothes were a collection of poorly stitched rags, an oversized faded t-shirt, jeans with rips at the knees and hems. Her dark hair was tangled, forming small knots visible even from a distance. In her skinny arms, she held 3 shopping bags filled with items Michael couldn't identify. Her bare feet were covered in dark dirt, typical of someone walking the streets unprotected. But it was her eyes that caught his attention, dark, intense, fixed directly on the papers he held. It wasn't the vacant look of someone begging out of habit. It was focused, as if she were reading something that deeply troubled her. Michael sighed and was already beginning to search for some coins in his pocket when the girl spoke. Her voice was surprisingly firm, without the hesitation he would expect from a child in her situation. "Sir, those calculations are wrong." Michael blinked, certain he had misheard. A street child was telling him his numbers were wrong. He almost laughed, but something in the seriousness of her face made him hesitate for a second. "What did you say?" he asked, keeping his tone polite but clearly incredulous. The girl stepped forward, pointing with her dirty finger at the report. "If you continue in this direction, your company will go bankrupt in 3 months. Your risk concentration is way too high. 70% of the portfolio in a single sector, 5 companies vulnerable to the same regulations. When the market turns, and it will, the domino effect will be overwhelming." Michael felt a wave of irritation replace his initial surprise. Who did this girl think she was? He had studied business at Harvard, earned an MBA in finance in London, worked for 10 years alongside his father before taking over the company, and now a dirty child, probably without even completing elementary school, was giving him advice on portfolio management. "Look here," he said, closing the report with a sharp motion. "I appreciate your concern, but I don't need financial advice from a—" He stopped, realizing that any word he chose would sound too cruel. "Just go away, all right? I have work to do." The girl didn't move. Her eyes remained fixed on him. There was something there that Michael couldn't fully decipher. It wasn't anger at the rejection, nor sadness. It was almost a resignation, as if she had already expected exactly that reaction. "You will regret this," she said quietly. "I'm not asking for anything. I'm just trying to help." Michael felt his patience wearing thin. "Help? You want to help? Then stop making up apocalyptic stories about companies you know nothing about markets you don't understand at all. Go seek real help. Find a homeless shelter, a school. But don't stay on the street pretending you understand corporate finance just to impress someone." The words came out harsher than he intended, laden with a disproportionate irritation he didn't fully understand. Maybe it was the heat. Maybe the accumulated stress of months working 16 hours a day, or maybe just the sheer absurdity of the situation. The girl took a step back. For a moment, Michael thought he saw something dim in those dark eyes. She lowered her head, adjusted the shopping bags in her arms, and turned away without saying anything more. He watched her slowly fade into the crowd, her small, ragged figure disappearing among the throngs in the park. Michael shook his head as if to dismiss an uncomfortable thought. What a strange situation. He opened the report again, but realized he could no longer concentrate on the numbers. The girl's words echoed in his mind: risk, concentration, domino effect. "That's absurd," he murmured to himself. "Completely absurd." He tucked the papers into his Italian leather folder, stood up from the bench. Michael walked towards the parking lot where he had left his BMW. He had a meeting with his partners at 4 p.m. and couldn't be late. As he drove through the congested streets of New York towards the office on Fifth Avenue, Michael tried to focus on the day's agenda: the presentation for a new potential client, negotiations with the bank to increase the credit line, hiring 3 new junior analysts. But the image of the girl kept coming back. Those eyes fixed on the report, reading the numbers with an attention that seemed disproportionate for a street child, the firmness in her voice when she said the calculations were wrong, the precision with which she mentioned concepts like risk, concentration, and domino effect. Coincidence, he decided as he handed the keys to the valet. She must have overheard someone talking about these things and simply repeated technical terms without understanding their real meaning. Kids are smart. They know how to get attention. In the mirrored elevator ascending to the 15th floor, Michael observed his own reflection. Dark grey Hugo Boss suit, Italian silk tie, grey hair at the temples giving him an air of authority, discreet but expensive framed glasses. It was the perfect image of a successful businessman. He had built this with hard work, dedication, and smart decisions based on rigorous analysis. He wasn't going to let the random words of a street girl plant seeds of doubt in his mind. The elevator doors opened, revealing the spacious, marble-floored hallway leading to the reception of Anderson Consulting. Emily, his secretary for 8 years, looked at him with a worried expression. "Mr. Anderson, the partners are already in the conference room, and Dr. Smith called 3 times. He said it's urgent." Robert Smith was the chief operating officer, a methodical and generally calm man. If he was calling 3 times in one afternoon, something important was happening. "I'll return his call after the meeting," Michael said, walking towards the glass-walled room where his 3 partners were already waiting. "Is there any new agenda I should know about?" Emily hesitated, biting her lower lip. "They didn't tell me anything specific, but everyone seemed tense when they arrived." Michael nodded and pushed open the glass door, entering the conference room with the confidence of someone who had commanded that space for a decade. Mark, Patricia, and Henry were seated around the mahogany oval table, each with tablets and folders open in front of them. The expressions on their 3 faces made Michael slow his pace. Something wasn't right. "Good afternoon," he said, maintaining a professional tone as he sat at the head of the table. "From what I see, we have serious matters to discuss." Mark was the first to speak. His deep voice carried a tension that Michael rarely heard. "Michael, we've received concerning information about Techfin." Techfin was their largest client, representing 28% of the entire portfolio managed by the consultancy. Michael felt a knot in his stomach, but kept a neutral expression. "What kind of information?" Patricia slid a tablet across the table towards him. On the screen, graphs showed steep declines. Techfin stocks had plummeted 40% in the last 6 hours of trading. There are rumors that new regulations from the Securities and Exchange Commission will directly impact their business model. And these aren't just rumors. Reliable sources confirm that the SEC is about to announce significant changes to the rules for financial technology companies. Michael took the tablet, his eyes quickly scanning the numbers. 40% in 6 hours. This was devastating. "And the others?" he asked, referring to the other 4 main companies in the portfolio. Henry cleared his throat. "It gets worse. They all operate in the same sector. They are all subject to the same regulations. If Techfin has been hit like this, it's only a matter of time before the others follow suit." Risk concentration. Domino effect. The girl's words echoed in Michael's mind with an almost physical clarity, as if she were there in the room repeating the warning he had dismissed with such arrogance. A few hours earlier, he felt the blood drain from his face. "How much time do we have?" Michael asked, forcing his voice to sound firm despite the whirlwind of thoughts flooding his mind. Mark exchanged a meaningful glance with Patricia before responding. "If the regulations are announced next week, as everything indicates, we need to act in the next few days, maybe hours. Clients will want answers. They will want to know why we didn't foresee this, why we concentrated so much of their portfolio in a vulnerable sector." Michael felt a growing pressure in his chest. For years, that concentration had been presented as a strategy, smart as market vision. The financial technology sector was in full expansion. Returns were exceptional, far above market average. He had convinced conservative clients to increase their exposure, arguing that the risks were minimal compared to the potential gains. Now, that same strategy that had made him a celebrated consultant threatened to destroy everything. "We need a plan," Henry said, nervously drumming his fingers on the table. "Phones are going to start ringing as soon as the market opens tomorrow, and we can't just say we didn't see this coming." "But we didn't see it," Patricia retorted, her voice laden with frustration. No one in the market was predicting such a drastic regulatory change. The government signaled stability. All indicators were positive. Michael closed his eyes for a moment. Someone had predicted it. A 12-year-old girl, ragged and barefoot, had looked at those same numbers and seen exactly what was happening now. "When the market turns, and it will turn," she had said. How did she know? The meeting stretched on for 3 hours. They devised damage control strategies, prepared responses for difficult client questions, discussed possibilities for emergency asset reallocation, but Michael sensed the truth behind all those conversations. They were improvising, trying to put out a fire that had already spread too far. When finally he left the conference room, it was already past 8 p.m. The office was almost empty, with only a few lights on in cubicles where the most dedicated analysts were still working. Michael walked to his office, closed the door, and sank into the executive leather chair. Through the large window, he could see the lights of New York stretching as far as the eye could reach. That city he knew so well, where he had built his professional empire, suddenly felt strange and threatening. How many other businessmen were facing similar crises at that moment? How many had ignored warning signs out of arrogance or overconfidence? His phone vibrated. It was a message from Robert, Smith, the COO who had called 3 times earlier. "We need to talk urgently." 3 more clients had called, worried. Rumors were already spreading. Michael typed a quick response, scheduling a meeting for 7 a.m. the next day, and tossed the phone onto the desk. He needed to think. He needed to find a solution before everything collapsed completely. But his mind kept drifting back to the girl, those dark eyes reading the numbers with an almost painful intensity. The firmness in her voice as she made the warning, the resignation in her gaze when he dismissed her harshly. She somehow knew. She really knew. Michael picked up the report he had been reviewing in the park, the same one the girl had seen. He opened it to page 17, where his red pen notes highlighted the exceptional results. Now, looking with different eyes, he saw what she had seen, the dangerous concentration, the lack of real diversification, the vulnerability of the entire system to a single change in the scenario. How had he been so blind? The answer came quick and brutal, because the numbers were too good to question, because success fed the ego, and the ego blinded judgment, because it was easier to believe in his own genius than to consider that maybe, just maybe, he was taking too many risks. Michael spent the night awake in the office, reviewing documents, making calculations, trying to find some way out. At 3 a.m., he accepted the strong coffee offered by the night security guard and continued working. By 5, when the grey light of dawn began to touch the sky, he faced a painful truth. There was no magic solution. The damage was done. The 7 a.m. meeting confirmed his worst fears. Robert Smith brought devastating news. Overnight, 2 more major clients had expressed their intention to terminate contracts. The losses for Techfin had intensified in the international aftermarket, and the other 4 major companies in the portfolio followed the downward trend. The total exposure represented $12 million in potential losses, 40% of the entire portfolio under management. "And there's more," Robert said, his voice tense. "The trade press is starting to ask questions. They want to know why Mendonça Consulting didn't alert its clients about regulatory risks. There are insinuations that we may have been negligent in our market analysis." Negligent. The word echoed in the room like an accusation. Michael saw the expressions on the faces around the table: fear, uncertainty, and something worse: doubt. His team was beginning to question him. "We need complete transparency," Michael finally said. "Let's admit that we didn't foresee this change in the scenario. We'll work with clients to minimize the damage, and we'll completely restructure our risk analysis methodology." "Is that enough?" Patricia asked. "The company's reputation is at stake. 40 years of credibility built by your father, 10 years of growth under your management. This could crumble in weeks." She was right, and Michael knew it. Reputation took decades to build and days to destroy, especially in the financial market where trust was everything. The following days were a nightmare. Client after client called demanding explanations. Some were understanding, recognizing that regulatory changes were unpredictable. Others were brutal in their criticism, accusing the consultancy of incompetence, of superficial analysis, of failing in the basic responsibility of protecting the interests of those who trusted them. Michael worked 16, sometimes 18 hours a day, trying to contain the damage, endless meetings, difficult phone calls, planning sessions that stretched into the early morning. He barely slept, barely ate. He lived in a constant state of tension that was beginning to take its physical and emotional toll. On Friday, exactly 3 weeks after the meeting in the park, Michael lost the Johnson & Smith account, a client that had been with the firm for 22 years. Old Mr. Johnson, who had been a personal friend of his father, called personally to communicate the decision. "Michael, I trusted you as I trusted your father." The tired voice of the 70-year-old man sounded heavy from the other side of the line. But this failure was too grave. I lost half the wealth I took 30 years to build. I need to protect what remains. The call ended, and Michael stared at the phone in his hand as if it were a strange object. 22 years of partnership destroyed in 3 weeks. His father's legacy tarnished by his arrogance. He got up from the chair and walked to the window. Down below, New York buzzed with its busy Friday. People rushing to appointments, street vendors at the lights, cars stuck in chaotic traffic, life happening, indifferent to the personal crisis he faced. And then he saw the park, Central Park, where it had all begun, where a girl had tried to save him, and he had dismissed her as if she were trash. Michael looked at the clock, 7:30 p.m. Without thinking much, he grabbed his jacket and left the office. He took the elevator down, passed through the building's lobby, and walked the 6 blocks that separated his office from the park. The night air was cooler, a gentle breeze easing the heat of the day. He arrived at Central Park and stopped. There were people everywhere, but he was looking for a specific figure, a small girl in torn clothes carrying shopping bags. Would she still come here? Would he be able to find her? He walked slowly through the park, examining each face, each shadow. He passed by groups of young people chatting, families enjoying the late afternoon, and homeless individuals settled in their usual spots, but he did not see the girl. He was about to give up when he spotted her. She was sitting on the same bench where he had been 3 weeks ago, shopping bags beside her, looking at the hustle and bustle of the park with that same intense expression that had marked him so deeply. Michael felt his heart race, approaching slowly, as if fearing she might disappear if he moved too quickly. When he was just a few feet away, she turned her head, and their eyes met. There was instant recognition. She did not seem surprised. She simply continued to look at him with that unsettling serenity. "Did you know?" Michael said, his voice coming out lower than he intended. "How did you know?" The girl did not answer immediately. She studied his face, noting the deep, dark circles under his eyes, the stubble on his chin, the crease of worry between his eyebrows. Finally, she gestured to the empty space beside her on the bench. "Sit down, sir. It seems you need to talk." Michael hesitated for a moment before sitting down. The wooden bench was worn from time and use, completely different from the leather ergonomic chairs in his office. He settled in, keeping a respectful distance, unsure how to start the conversation. The girl continued to look ahead, watching a group of street performers setting up their instruments for a show. Her profile revealed delicate features beneath the dirt covering her face. Michael noticed she had a small healing cut on her forehead, and that her hands, despite being dirty, had long, slender fingers. "It all happened, just as you said," Michael finally began. 3 weeks, until it all collapsed in the end, dragging the other companies down with it. Clients are breaking contracts, 12 million in losses, 40% of the portfolio. The girl nodded slightly, showing no surprise or satisfaction. It was not a reaction of, "I told you so," but rather that of someone who had foreseen something inevitable and hoped to be wrong. "I'm sorry it happened," she said softly. "Really? But you knew it would happen," Michael insisted, turning to face her. "You looked at that report for a few seconds and saw exactly what was going to go wrong. How? How could a child do a risk analysis that my analysts with master's and doctorate degrees couldn't?" For the first time, the girl turned her face completely in his direction, her dark eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made him feel as if she was seeing far beyond the surface. "Because I grew up hearing about these things," she replied. "My parents were financial analysts. They worked at one of the largest brokerage firms in New York. Since I was very little, I listened to conversations about investments, about risks, about how to read market trends." Michael felt something tighten in his chest. "Financial analysts." The girl nodded. "My dad specialized in systemic risk analysis. My mum worked on adverse scenario modeling. At night at home, they reviewed cases, discussed strategies, debated dangerous portfolio concentrations. I would sit there doing my homework at the kitchen table, absorbing everything without even realizing it. She picked up one of the shopping bags, and Michael noticed it contained some old, crumpled books. The girl took one out, a financial analysis manual with a torn cover and pages marked from heavy use. "This was my dad's," she said, gently running her fingers over the damaged cover. "He marked the important parts, made notes in the margins. I read this book about 10 times, not because someone told me to, but because it was a way to feel close to them." Michael observed the book, the yellowed pages, the handwritten notes in the margins. There was something profoundly sad about that image. A child reading technical finance manuals, not to study, but to keep her parents' memory alive. "What happened to them?" he asked, although part of him already knew the answer would be painful. The girl fell silent for a long moment. The sounds of the park seemed to swell around them, voices blending, music starting to play, the constant noise of traffic. Finally, she replied, "Car accident. 3 years ago, they were coming back from a conference in Connecticut. A truck lost control on the highway." She paused, taking a deep breath. "It was quick, they told me. They didn't suffer." Michael felt a lump in his throat. "And did you have other relatives?" The girl shook her head. "My grandparents had passed away before. My parents were only children, just like me. I had no uncles, cousins, no one. The state took custody of me. I went to a homeless shelter and ended up on the streets." She let out a heavy sigh, too old for someone so young. "The shelter was overcrowded, 40 kids in a space meant for 20. Social workers did what they could, but it wasn't enough. Older kids would beat up the younger ones, steal food, clothes. I tried to hold on, but after 6 months I couldn't take it anymore. One night I just left and didn't come back." "And on the streets?" Michael asked, knowing he was asking difficult questions but needing to understand. The girl shrugged. "It's tough, but in a way, it's more free. No one hits you for taking up too much space. No one humiliates you for being different, for reading books instead of fighting with the other kids." She looked at Michael with a sad smile. "Of course, there are other problems. Hunger, cold, danger, but at least they are problems I choose to face." Michael fell silent, processing all of this. He tried to imagine what it would be like to lose everything at 9 years old, to be thrown into a system that couldn't care for him properly, having to choose between institutionalized violence and the dangers of the streets. His own childhood had been privileged. Studies at the best schools, international trips, all the opportunities money could buy. "When you saw my report that day," Michael said, returning to the topic. The girl took the book back and carefully placed it in her shopping bag. "I saw the same patterns my father taught me to identify: excessive concentration in a single sector, lack of real diversification, overconfidence in optimistic projections. My father used to say that the best investors are not the ones who make the most when everything is going well, but those who lose the least when everything goes wrong." She turned to Michael with a serious expression. "You had 70% of your portfolio concentrated in 5 companies in the same sector, all subject to the same regulations, all vulnerable to the same market changes. When I saw that, I remembered a case my father studied, a company that went bankrupt in the 2000s for exactly the same reason: risk concentration without adequate analysis of adverse scenarios." Michael felt simultaneously impressed and humiliated. "How many times," he asked, "how many times did you try to warn others and they reacted like I did?" The girl thought for a moment. 5, maybe 6 times. I saw reports left on park benches, on cafe tables. Once I saw a man discussing investments on the phone and realized he was making a basic allocation mistake. I tried to warn him." She gave a bitter smile. "The reaction is always the same: surprise, then irritation, then contempt. A dirty girl can't know more than they do. So why do you keep trying? The question came out before Michael could think better of it, but the girl didn't seem offended. On the contrary, her eyes gained a different sparkle, something between determination and hope. Because my parents taught me that knowledge comes with responsibility. She said, if you know something is wrong and you don't try to warn, even if no one listens, you become part of the problem. They always said that integrity is not doing the right thing when it's easy, but when it's hard, when no one is looking, when you gain nothing from it. Michael felt shame burn his face. He had built a career on the idea that he did the right thing for his clients, that he had integrity. But when a child tried to save him from himself, he cruelly dismissed her. Where was his integrity at that moment? I need your help, he said, the words coming out before he could reconsider. The company is in crisis. If I can't turn this around, 40 years of history will end. My father's legacy will be destroyed. I need someone who can see what I can't see. The girl studied him in silence. Michael could see the thoughts moving behind those intelligent eyes, weighing options, considering possibilities. And why should I help? She finally asked. You were rude to me. You treated me like I was stupid, as if my words meant nothing. Why should I trust that this time would be different? The question was fair, and Michael knew it. Because you're right, he answered honestly. I was arrogant, rude, prejudiced. I judged you by your appearance, not by what you knew. And now I'm paying the price for that arrogance, but I'm not too proud to admit when I'm wrong. And I won't let my pride destroy everything my father built. He took a deep breath before continuing. If you help me, I promise to treat you with the respect you deserve. I promise to listen to every word you say, to consider every suggestion seriously. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your situation. What matters is that you understand things I should understand and don't. The girl continued to look at him and evaluate. The silence stretched, and Michael felt the weight of that moment. His professional life, perhaps even his personal life, depended on the answer of that child he had dismissed so easily weeks ago. Finally she spoke. I have one condition. Anything, Michael said immediately, when I speak. You really listen to me. Not just hear the words, but truly consider what I'm saying. And if you disagree, explain to me with real arguments, not just because I'm a child or because I'm wrong by definition. Treat me like a person capable of thinking, contributing, and having value. Michael extended his hand, a formal gesture that surprised even him. You have my word. The girl looked at the outstretched hand, then at Michael's face. Slowly, she extended her own small, dirty hand. When their hands touched, Michael felt the firmness of the grip, the determination conveyed through that simple gesture. What's your name? He asked, realizing he hadn't even asked that. Sarah, she replied. Sarah Johnson. Michael, he said. Michael Anderson. Pleasure to meet you, Sarah, truly. Monday morning began in a surreal way for everyone at Anderson Consulting. Emily, the secretary, nearly dropped her coffee cup when she saw Michael arrive at 8 sharp, accompanied by a girl in torn clothes, disheveled hair, and bare feet. She carried her shopping bags as if they were briefcases and walked beside Michael with a strangely dignified posture despite her deplorable appearance. Good morning, Emily, Michael said casually, as if there was nothing unusual about that scene. This is Sarah Johnson. She will be working with us during the crisis. Please arrange a temporary badge for her and reserve the smaller conference room for our exclusive use. Emily blinked several times, her mouth opening and closing without making a sound. Finally, she managed to stammer, Mr. Anderson, I don't understand who this girl is. Why is she barefoot? She's a new intern. Special consultant, Michael corrected firmly, and her personal circumstances are not relevant to her professional capability. The badge, please. Still dazed, Emily took a form and began filling it out with trembling fingers. Sarah observed everything with a neutral expression, but Michael noticed the tension in her shoulders, the way she held the shopping bags a little tighter. He knew that moment was difficult for her. In that immaculate corporate environment, he felt like a street kid. While Emily was working on the badge, employees began to arrive. Reactions ranged from shock, confusion, and barely concealed disbelief. Michael could hear the whispers and see the sidelong glances. He knew he was about to face serious resistance, but he didn't care. Sarah had spent the weekend with him, reviewing documents he had brought from the company. In just a few hours, she identified issues that his team had taken weeks to note. Mark was the first partner to arrive. He stopped in the middle of the hallway when he saw Sarah, his eyebrows rising almost to his hairline. "Michael, can I speak with you for a moment in private?" Michael nodded for Sarah to take a seat in one of the reception chairs and followed Mark to a more secluded corner. "Have you lost your mind?" Mark hissed in a low but furious voice. "You brought a street kid into the office, a child. What will the clients think if they see her here? They'll think we're doing everything we can to save their company." Michael replied calmly. "Sarah has exceptional knowledge in financial analysis. She predicted issues when no one else saw them coming." Mark looked at Sarah, then back at Michael. "Are you telling me that a homeless girl has knowledge that our team of analysts doesn't?" "Michael, I know you're under pressure, but this is absurd." "It's the truth," Michael said, maintaining a firm tone. "She grew up in a family of high-level financial analysts. She knows more about risk management than most of our employees, and I'm going to use her as a consultant, with or without your approval." Mark fell silent for a moment, clearly processing that information. Finally, he shook his head. "If this blows up in our faces, the responsibility is all yours." "I completely accept that," Michael replied. The meeting in the smaller conference room began half an hour later. Michael had summoned the key team members: Mark, Patricia, Henry, Robert Smith, and 3 senior analysts. They all settled around the oval table, their eyes inevitably returning to Sarah, who was sitting to the right of Michael with her folder of documents in front of her. "Everyone," Michael began, "this is Sarah Johnson. She will help us navigate this crisis. She has expertise in systemic risk analysis and portfolio vulnerability identification." One of the senior analysts, a man in his mid-30s named Fernando, let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "With all due respect, Mr. Anderson, she can't be more than 12 years old. What kind of expertise can she have?" Sarah looked up at Fernando. "I'm actually 14, and I grew up studying financial analysis because my parents worked in the field. I know my appearance doesn't inspire confidence, but the numbers don't lie. If you give me a chance to show what I know, I will prove my worth." Her voice was firm, without arrogance, but also without hesitation. Fernando looked at Michael as if expecting him to intervene, but Michael just gestured for Sarah to continue. Sarah opened her folder and pulled out several documents. "Over the weekend, I reviewed the reports that Mr. Anderson provided me. I identified 3 main issues beyond the risk concentration, which we already know about." She spread the papers across the table. "First, you have 6 other clients whose portfolios are also excessively exposed to sector risks, not as much as TechFin, but enough to cause serious problems if the market remains unstable. Second, there are 3 ongoing consulting contracts that are draining resources without generating adequate returns. These clients are basically paying to validate decisions they've already made, not to receive real analyses. And third, your risk assessment system is too focused on quantitative data and ignores important qualitative factors." Patricia frowned. "What kind of qualitative factors?" Sarah pulled out another document. "For example, TechFin. If you had analyzed not just the numbers but also the regulatory context, the Federal Reserve's public statements, and the political trends regarding the fintech sector, you would have seen clear signs that changes were coming. But your reports focus 90% on historical performance data and only 10% on contextual analysis. Robert Smith leaned forward. And how do you suggest we fix this? Sarah took a deep breath. Michael could see she was nervous, but her voice remained steady. You need an integrated system. For each investment, don't just evaluate past performance and future projections. Also assess the regulatory context, the political stability of the sector, the social trends that may affect the business, and the vulnerability to technological changes. Create realistic adverse scenarios and test each portfolio against those scenarios. Fernando let out another sarcastic laugh. That's basic risk management theory. Any second-year college student knows that. You're not saying anything new. Sarah stared directly at him. Then why weren't you doing it? Why did TechFin pass all its risk assessments if proper contextual analysis would have shown obvious vulnerabilities? The silence that followed was heavy. Fernando opened his mouth to respond, but found no words because she was right. Everyone knew the theory, but few applied it rigorously in practice, especially when the numbers were good and the clients were happy. Michael felt a wave of respect for Sarah. She wasn't afraid to confront people much older, with far more formal experience, because she knew she was right. Sarah has a point, Patricia admitted reluctantly. We became complacent. The returns were so good that we stopped questioning adequately. Sarah pulled out another document, a handwritten spreadsheet she had prepared over the weekend. I did a preliminary analysis of the 6 clients I mentioned. For each one, I identified specific risks that are not being adequately considered. If you start working on these corrections now, you can avoid future losses and show the clients that you're being proactive. Robert took the spreadsheet and began to examine it. His eyes were, as Sarah read, her eyes widened. This is detailed, she murmured. Very detailed. You did all this in 2 days. I read the reports on Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, Sarah explained. I don't have much else to do with my time. The statement came out simple, seeking no pity, but the impact was palpable. That girl living on the streets had spent the entire weekend analyzing complex financial documents because she had nothing better to do, because her life was so devoid of basic comforts that working on financial analyses was preferable to anything else available to her. Mark cleared his throat, assuming her analyses were correct and that they would need to verify that. What's the next step? Transparency, Sarah said immediately. Call those 6 clients, show them the identified risks, present a restructuring plan. Some will be angry because you didn't see this sooner, but they will respect the honesty. And more importantly, they will see that you are actively working to protect them. And what about the 3 problematic contracts? Frank asked. Sarah hesitated, then continued. Be honest with them too. Tell them the relationship isn't functioning properly, that you aren't adding real value. Offer to renegotiate the terms or, if necessary, amicably terminate the contracts. It's better to lose revenue now than to keep clients who will end up dissatisfied and damage your reputation further. Patricia nodded slowly. It's risky, but it makes sense. Long-term credibility is worth more than short-term revenue. The meeting continued for another 2 hours. Initially, the team asked questions skeptically, almost expecting Sarah to stumble, to reveal she didn't know what she was talking about. But question after question, she answered with precision, citing examples, referencing financial theories, demonstrating a deep understanding of complex concepts. Gradually, skepticism began to give way to something different. Not exactly complete acceptance, but at least recognition that she knew what she was talking about. When the meeting finally ended, Frank was the last to leave, stopping at the door and looking back. "Sarah," he said, his tone very different from the initial mockery, "your analyses are solid. I will verify everything personally, but I admit you know what you're doing." She nodded. "Thank you, and I'm sorry if I was too direct before. I know my situation makes all of this strange." Frank shook his head. "You don't need to apologize. You were right. If a 14-year-old girl can see what 30 professionals missed, the problem isn't with you." He left, leaving Michael and Sarah alone in the room. Michael leaned back in his chair, feeling a huge weight lift from his shoulders for the first time in weeks. "You were amazing," he said. "You faced them all fearlessly." Sarah gave a small, tired smile. "I'm still shaking inside, but my parents taught me that if you know you're right, you need to stand your ground, no matter how scary it is." Michael looked at that girl, so young, yet carrying so much wisdom, so much suffering, so much strength. "You need new clothes, a place to shower, to rest properly. I can't ask you to work under these conditions." Sarah looked at her own torn clothes, at her bare, dirty feet. "I know I look terrible, but I have nowhere to go." "You do now," Michael said. "I will arrange a hotel room for you. You will have a safe, clean place with proper food. While you're helping me, I will ensure your basic needs are met. It's the least I can do." Sarah fell silent, her eyes filling with tears that she quickly blinked away. How long had it been since someone cared about her basic needs, since someone treated her like a human being deserving of care? "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much." The Grandview Hotel in the Garden District was one of the most traditional in New York. Michael had booked a room on the 8th floor overlooking Maple Avenue, with classic decor that combined elegance with comfort. When Sarah entered the room for the first time, followed by Michael and a hotel staff member, she simply stopped and looked around, as if she couldn't process what she was seeing. The king-sized bed with pristine white linens looked enormous to her. The marble bathroom was larger than many of the places she had slept on the streets. The flat-screen TV, the minibar, the wooden desk, everything seemed to belong to a completely different world from the one she had lived in for 3 years. "Is this for me?" she asked, her voice small and incredulous. "It's yours for as long as you need," Michael confirmed. "The hotel staff member, a kind lady named Mrs. Johnson, will help you with whatever you need. New clothes, hygiene items, all at your own pace, without judgment." Mrs. Johnson smiled warmly at Sarah. "My dear, I will prepare a nice warm bath for you. Then we'll see what you need in terms of clothes. How does that sound?" Sarah looked at Michael, still processing everything. He nodded encouragingly. "It's all right. You deserve this, Sarah. You deserve much more than this." After leaving her in Mrs. Johnson's care, Michael returned to the office. He felt strangely light, as if helping Sarah was somehow helping himself too. For the first time in weeks, he was not focused solely on the crisis, but on doing something genuinely good. The following weeks were intense. Sarah became a constant presence in the office, working long hours alongside the team. Initially, she arrived early, before most employees, and Michael suspected it was to avoid curious glances. But gradually, as she proved her worth repeatedly, the resistance began to diminish. Frank, the analyst who had mocked her on the first day, became an unlikely ally. One afternoon, Michael found them working together on a complex spreadsheet, discussing risk assessment models with the intensity of two academics debating theory. "You're right about the qualitative indicators," Frank said, pointing to numbers on the screen. "I was focusing solely on the historical data and completely losing the regulatory context. It's obvious when you point it out, but it's not obvious when you're immersed in the numbers all day." Emily smiled. "My father used to say that numbers tell half the story. The other half lies in the people, the politics, the social trends. Ignoring either half is a recipe for disaster. Michael observed the scene with satisfaction. Emily not only understood finance, she could teach, she could make other experienced professionals see their own blind spots. It was a rare gift. The changes that Emily suggested began to show results. The 6 clients identified as having excessive risk exposure were proactively contacted. 3 were initially irritated, questioning why those issues hadn't been identified earlier. But when the team presented detailed analyses and already prepared restructuring plans, irritation gave way to something close to respect. One of those clients, the owner of a private school network named Andrew Thompson, requested to speak with Michael Anderson in person. He said over the phone, his voice thoughtful, "I was about to jump ship. I lost confidence after the TechFin fiasco. But this proactive approach, this brutal honesty about the shortcomings, it changed my perspective. You're admitting mistakes and correcting them before they turn into catastrophes. That's rare in this market." Michael felt a deep sense of relief. "We're doing everything we can to regain trust, Andrew, and we have someone very special helping us see what we were missing." "I heard rumors about a young consultant," Andrew said. "They say she's 14 years old." "It's true." "It's true," Michael confirmed. "And she's the smartest person in risk analysis I've ever met." "I'd like to meet her someday," Andrew said. "Anyone who can save investment portfolios and consulting firms deserves recognition." After hanging up, Michael found Emily in the conference room, surrounded by documents. She had swapped her torn clothes for new jeans and a simple but clean t-shirt. Her hair, now washed and properly cut, revealed a delicate face with expressive eyes. But what had changed the most wasn't her appearance, it was her posture. She no longer shrank away, no longer avoided eye contact. She was starting to carry herself like someone who belonged in that space. "Andrew Thompson wants to meet you," Michael said, sitting down beside her. "He was impressed with the work we did on his account." Emily looked up from the documents. "I just pointed out the obvious. The team did the real restructuring work." "You're being modest," Michael observed. "Without your analyses, we wouldn't even know where to start. You have a special talent for this, Emily, for seeing patterns that others don't see." Emily was quiet for a moment, her fingers absently tracing the margins of a report. "My father used to say the same thing, that I had an eye for details, for non-obvious connections. He wanted me to study economics when I grew up, maybe work with them at the brokerage." She paused, her voice lowering. "He would have been proud to see me doing this." Michael felt a lump in his throat. He would indeed be very proud. That night, working late at the office, Michael and Emily had a conversation that changed something fundamental in their relationship. It was almost 11 p.m., the building silent except for the distant hum of the air conditioning system. They were reviewing the latest quarterly report when Emily suddenly asked, "Why are you doing this?" "For me." Michael looked up, surprised by the question. "Doing what? All of this? The hotel, the clothes, giving me this opportunity? You don't know me. I could have lied about everything. I could just be a smart girl pretending to know more than I really do." "But you're not pretending," Michael said. "And as for why, the answer is complicated. Part of it is gratitude. You're saving my company. Part of it is guilt for the way I treated you that first day. But there's something more." "What?" Michael thought carefully before responding. "When I lost my father 5 years ago, I was lost for a long time. He built this company from scratch, turned it into something meaningful, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to honor that legacy. Afraid of being just the spoiled son who inherited everything without deserving it. So I worked like crazy, made the company grow, tripled in size, but in the process I lost something my father had. Humility. He always said that the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop learning. Michael looked at Emily. You taught me that again. You taught me that wisdom has no age, that circumstances don't define worth, and you taught me that sometimes the person who can save us appears in the most unexpected way. Emily remained silent, processing those words. Finally she said, When I lost my parents, I thought I had lost everything, and in a way, I did. I lost my home, my security, my future, but I also discovered something. I discovered that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive things that seemed impossible. And I discovered that doing the right thing, even when it's hard, is the only way to maintain some dignity. Why did you try to warn me that day? Michael asked. You didn't know me. You didn't owe me anything. You had every right to let me sink after the way I treated you. Emily gave a sad smile. Because my parents raised me to be better than the circumstances. They always said that the person you are when no one is watching, when you gain nothing from doing the right thing, that's your true essence. I could have turned my back. I could have felt satisfaction watching you suffer the consequences of ignoring me. But what kind of person would I be? So? Michael felt a deep admiration wash over him. You're 14 years old and have more integrity than most adults I know. It's not integrity, Emily gently corrected. It's survival. When you lose everything, the only thing left is who you choose to be. I chose not to. Letting bitterness consume me, not allowing the cruelty of the world to turn me into someone cruel as well. They fell silent for a moment, the weight of that conversation hanging in the air. Michael thought about everything he had learned in the past few weeks, about humility, about judgment, about the real value of people beyond their appearances or circumstances. Helena, he said, finally, I would like to do something more for you. Beyond the work here, beyond the hotel, I want to help you have a real future, a proper education, opportunities, a chance to use your talent in a more permanent way. Helena looked at him, her eyes shining with contained emotion. You are already doing so much. No, Michael insisted, it's still not enough. You deserve more than this, and I want to help ensure that you have it. In the following days, Michael began researching options, speaking with lawyers about custody processes, with social workers about support programs for minors, and with school directors about scholarships. Each conversation made him more determined to do this right, to give Helena not just a temporary opportunity, but a solid foundation for her future. Meanwhile, Helena continued working. She identified 3 more clients with potential issues, helped restructure 2 important contracts, and began developing a new risk assessment system that integrated quantitative and qualitative analyses more efficiently. The team, which had initially been skeptical, now treated her with genuine respect, not as a child trying to play adult, but as a competent colleague whose opinions carried real weight. Patricia, the partner who had been one of the most skeptical at first, approached Michael one afternoon. I need to admit something, she said. When you brought Helena in, I thought you had lost your mind. I thought the stress of the crisis had affected your judgment, but I was completely wrong. She is extraordinary. Michael smiled. I know, I'm still discovering how extraordinary she is. What are you going to do with her in the long term? Patricia asked. She can't live in a hotel forever and needs proper education, structure, family. I'm working on it, Michael said, but time is a factor. The system doesn't make it easy to adopt a teenager, especially when you're single and working 16 hours a day. Patricia nodded thoughtfully. If you need someone to vouch for your character or capability, you can count on me. Helena deserves a real chance, and you are doing the right thing. Those words meant more to Michael than Patricia probably realized. He was doing the right thing, not just to save his company, but to save a life that society had discarded, to prove that human value is not measured by a dress or bank account. 2 months had passed since the day Michael found Helena for the second time in the park. The company was still far from fully recovering its previous position, but the signs of improvement were undeniable. 3 clients who had threatened to break contracts decided to stay after seeing the new risk analysis system in action. Losses had stabilized, and although the portfolio was now significantly smaller, it had much stronger foundations. Michael was in his office reviewing the latest numbers when Emily announced an unexpected visit. "Dr. Anderson, I have a social worker here to see you. She says it's about the girl Helena." Michael felt his stomach tighten. He had initiated legal proceedings to become Helena's guardian, but the process was complex and fraught with bureaucratic obstacles. "Send her in," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. The woman who entered was small, in her 50s, with grey hair pulled back in a bun and tired eyes that had seen too much. She carried a folder full of documents and had that professional yet distant expression typical of someone who has worked for years in an overloaded social service. "Dr. Anderson," she said, extending her hand, "I'm Beatrice Johnson from the Child Protective Services. I'm here to discuss the situation of Helena Johnson." Michael shook her hand and gestured to a chair. "Please, have a seat. I would like to know how I can help." Beatrice opened the folder and began to leaf through documents. Helena had been registered as a minor in a homeless situation for years. She had run away from a state shelter and since then, despite several attempts at reintegration, had remained on the streets. Until recently, when she started being registered at this business address and in a hotel, she paused, looking directly at Michael. "Can you explain the nature of your relationship with her?" Michael chose his words carefully. "Helena approached me a few months ago with insightful analysis about issues in my company. I discovered that she has exceptional knowledge in finance, inherited from her parents who were analysts. I offered her a job as a consultant during our current crisis, and am providing appropriate accommodations while she works with us." Beatrice took notes on her long-term plans for her. "I would like to become her legal guardian," Michael said directly, "to provide proper education, permanent housing, family structure. Helena has extraordinary talent that is being wasted. She deserves all the opportunities that other children with resources have." Beatrice studied his face for a long moment. "Dr. Anderson, do you understand that being a guardian for a teenager is a huge responsibility? Especially one who has spent 3 years on the streets, who has significant trauma from losing her parents, and who may have developed problematic behaviors as a survival mechanism." "I understand perfectly," Michael replied. "And I also understand that Helena is not a problematic child. She is a brilliant young woman who has been abandoned by the system that was supposed to protect her. I'm not doing this out of pity or impulse. I'm doing it because I genuinely believe she deserves a chance." Beatrice sighed. "I'll be honest with you. I see many cases of adult men showing sudden interest in minors. Most of the time, the intentions are not good. I need to make sure that this is not the case here." Michael felt anger burning in his chest, but he forced himself to remain calm. "I understand your caution and respect that you need to protect Sarah, but I can assure you that my intentions are completely appropriate. Sarah is working in a professional environment, surrounded by my full team. She has her own hotel room with complete privacy. At no time has there been or will there be any inappropriate behavior on my part." "I would like to speak with her," Beatrice said privately. "Of course. She is in the conference room working. I'll call her." Minutes later, Sarah entered the room. She was wearing dark jeans and a simple white blouse, her hair tied back in a ponytail. She looked older than 14, with a maturity in her eyes that came from having lived much more than she should have in such a short time. "Sarah, this is Dr. Beatrice Johnson from the Child Protective Services," Michael said. "She would like to talk to you." Sarah nodded and sat down, her hands crossed in her lap. "Hello, Dr. Johnson. I'll leave you to talk privately," Michael said, standing up. "I'll be in the hallway if you need me." He left and closed the door, leaving the two alone. He walked to the window at the end of the hallway, looking out at the city below, not really seeing anything. His mind was racing. What if Child Protective Services decided he was unfit? What if they took Sarah away and sent her back to a homeless shelter? 20 minutes later, the door to the room opened and Beatrice came out. Her expression was impossible to read. "Dr. Anderson, I need to do some additional checks, but I can say that Sarah speaks very highly of you. She says you treat her with respect, that you've given her opportunities she thought she would never have again." Michael felt relief wash over him. "She is an extraordinary person. Any opportunity I gave her, she multiplied by 10 with her own work and dedication." Beatrice nodded. "I will initiate a formal evaluation. This will include background checks, interviews with your team, and a visit to the hotel where she is staying. If everything is in order, we can start the process of temporary guardianship with a view to adoption. But I want to make it clear, I will be closely monitoring any signs of trouble, any indication that Sarah is not being adequately cared for, and we will reverse it immediately." "I understand and completely agree," Michael said. "Sarah deserves all the protection possible." After Beatrice left, Sarah appeared at the door of the room. "How did it go?" Michael asked. Sarah gave a small smile. "She is strict. She asked a lot of questions about how you treat me, if I feel safe, if anyone has ever done anything inappropriate. But I think she understood that this is real, that you really want to help me." Michael stepped closer but maintained a respectful distance. "And you, how do you feel about all this?" Sarah was quiet for a moment. "Scared," she admitted. "It's been so long since I've had anything like a family. I don't know if I remember what it's like to belong somewhere, to someone. But I'm also hopeful because for the first time in 3 years, I can imagine a future that isn't just about surviving another day." "You will have that future," Michael promised. "I will do everything in my power to ensure that." In the following weeks, the evaluation by Child Protective Services continued. Beatrice would show up unannounced at the office, asking questions of the team, checking on how Sarah was being treated. She visited the hotel, talking to Mrs. Johnson about Sarah's living conditions. Each visit left Michael tense, but gradually Beatrice seemed satisfied with what she saw. Meanwhile, work continued. Michael had enrolled Sarah in a high school preparatory course, trying to make up for the 3 years of formal education she had missed. At night, after work, she studied in her hotel room, absorbing knowledge with the same veracity with which she analyzed financial reports. One day, Andrew Thompson, the owner of the school network, appeared at the office for a meeting. After discussing business, he said, "Anderson, I heard about your situation with Sarah, the girl who is helping your company." Michael became cautious. "Yes, I have a proposal," Andrew said. "One of my schools is considered the best in New York for college entrance exam preparation. If you can gain guardianship of her, I would like to offer a full scholarship, not just for high school, but complete support, including school supplies, uniform, everything she needs." Michael felt emotion tighten his throat. "Andrew, that would be amazing." "But why?" Andrew smiled. "Because this girl saved my investments. Because I believe in rewarding talent when I see it, and frankly, a story like hers deserves a happy ending. Besides, it would be great to have such a bright student in our school." Michael shook Andrew's hand warmly. "I don't know how to thank you." "Just keep taking care of her," Andrew said. "That's all I ask." When Michael told Sarah about the offer, she was speechless. A full scholarship at Andrew Thompson's school, but this is one of the best private schools in the United States. You deserve to be there, Michael said. Your talent, your intelligence, your dedication, all of that deserves the best opportunities possible. Sarah impulsively hugged Michael, something she had never done before. Thank you, she whispered against his chest. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Michael gently returned the hug, feeling something resolve within him. For the first time since losing his father, he felt he was doing something that went beyond numbers and profits. He was making a real difference in someone's life. Weeks later, Beatrice Johnson returned to the office. Her expression was serious, but there was something different in her eyes. Dr. Anderson, I have completed my evaluation. Michael felt his heart racing as Beatrice opened the folder and took out several documents. Your background checks are clear. Your professional and personal references are excellent. Your team speaks very highly of how you treat Sarah, with respect and appropriate boundaries. The hotel confirms that she has adequate privacy and security, and more importantly, Sarah clearly feels safe and valued under your care. She paused, and Michael held his breath. I am recommending immediate temporary guardianship with the adoption process to be initiated after 6 months. Michael was in the probationary period. Congratulations, Dr. Anderson, you're about to become a father. Michael felt tears prick at his eyes. Seriously, is this real? It's real, Beatrice confirmed, allowing herself a small smile. But remember, I'll be monitoring. The responsibility of being a parent, especially to a teenager with Sarah's background, is immense. You'll need patience, understanding, and a lot of love. I have all of that to give, Michael promised. Sarah deserves all of that and much more. When Sarah heard the news, she cried, tears of relief, joy, and renewed hope. Michael hugged her as she sobbed against his shoulder. 3 years of pain and abandonment, finally finding an outlet. You're going to have a home, he murmured. A family, a future, everything you should have had all along. And for the first time in a long while, Sarah allowed herself to believe that better days were truly coming. The move to Michael's home happened on a sunny Saturday afternoon. The residence was in a quiet neighborhood on the Upper East Side, a 3-story house with a garden and pool. When Sarah stepped inside for the first time, carrying only her shopping bags with her father's books and a few new clothes, she paused in the foyer and simply looked around. Michael observed her reaction, trying to see his home through her eyes, the marble staircase, the crystal chandelier, the paintings on the walls. Everything that was mundane to him must have seemed absurdly luxurious to someone who had spent 3 years sleeping on sidewalks. Your room is on the 2nd floor, Michael said gently. I'll show you. Going up the stairs, he opened the door to a spacious room overlooking the garden. There was a queen-size bed, a large desk, empty shelves waiting to be filled, and a private bathroom. The walls were white and neutral, waiting for Sarah to personalize them as she wished. It's yours, Michael said. You can decorate it however you like, change the furniture, whatever you want. I want you to feel at home. Sarah entered slowly, as if fearing that everything might disappear if she moved too quickly. She placed the bags on the bed and walked to the window. Outside, the garden was green and well kept. Trees, providing shade, a swing hanging from one of the thicker branches. You have a swing, she said, her voice strangely small. I used to, Michael corrected. My dad installed it when I was a kid. I haven't used it in years. Can I use it? Sarah asked, turning to face him. Of course, everything here is yours now too. That night, during dinner that Michael prepared with more anxiety than culinary skill, they talked about rules and expectations. Sarah would need to attend school regularly, maintain her grades, and help out minimally with household chores. Michael would work fewer hours to be more present. They would have dinner together whenever possible, and he would be available to talk about anything. "Sounds simple," Sarah said, pushing the pasta around her plate. "Because I feel like it's going to be more complicated." Michael smiled. "Why would it be? Living with someone is always complicated. We'll have disagreements. We'll frustrate each other. We'll make mistakes. But the important thing is that we face it together." The first few days were strange for both. Michael had no experience being a father, especially to a teenager. Sarah had no experience being a daughter again, especially after 3 years of forced independence on the streets. They circled each other politely, trying to figure out the boundaries of this new relationship. The first real argument happened in the second week. Sarah had skipped her preparatory course without telling him. When Michael came home and found out, his concern turned to irritation. "Where have you been?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm. Sarah was in the living room, books scattered around her. "I went to the public library. I needed reference material for a project." "You need to let me know when you change your plans," Michael said. "I called the course. They said you didn't show up. I was worried." "You don't have to worry," Sarah retorted, her voice gaining a defensive edge. "I survived 3 years alone on the streets. I can take care of myself." "It's not about whether you can take care of yourself," Michael replied, feeling his own frustration grow. "It's about respect, about letting me know where you are, about making me worry, thinking something happened." "I didn't ask you to worry about me," Sarah shot back, standing up. "I didn't ask to be your responsibility. If it's too much work, I can go back to the streets." Michael felt as if he had been punched. "Do you think it's about work? Do you think I'm doing this because I feel obligated?" "I don't know why you're doing this," Sarah yelled, and Michael noticed tears streaming down her face. "I don't know why someone like you would care about someone like me. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's to feel good about yourself. Maybe it's because you need me to save your business. But I don't know if it's real." The silence that followed was heavy. Michael took a deep breath, forcing himself to process what Sarah was really saying. It wasn't about letting him know where she was. It was about fear. Fear of trusting, fear of getting attached, fear of losing everything again. He slowly approached and sat on the couch. "Sarah, look at me." She hesitated, but finally turned her face in his direction, still with tears streaming down. "I'm doing this because I care about you," Michael said calmly. "Not out of guilt, not to feel good, not because I need you professionally. I care because you're an amazing person who deserves to have a family, a home, a future. And yes, I will worry when you don't show up where you should be. I'll get irritated when you don't let me know where you are, because that's what parents do. They worry even when it's inconvenient." "What if I disappoint you?" Sarah whispered. "What if I'm not good enough to deserve all of this?" Michael felt his heart tighten. "You don't need to be good enough. You're already more than enough just as you are. But you need to trust me, Sarah. You need to believe that I won't abandon you when things get tough." Sarah sobbed and sat next to him on the couch. "For 3 years, I learned that the only person I can trust is myself. I don't know how to unlearn that." "You don't need to unlearn," Michael said softly. "You just need to expand. Trust yourself and start trusting me too. One day at a time." That night marked a change. Sarah began to let him know when she was going somewhere, not because she had to, but because she understood that someone cared. Michael began to realize that building trust with someone who had lost everything required infinite patience. The following weeks brought other challenges. Sarah struggled to adapt to the school environment. After 3 years out of formal education and with a background so different from the other students, she felt out of place. The other teenagers talked about parties, relationships, problems that seemed trivial compared to what she had lived through. One day, she came home and went straight to her room without speaking to Michael. He waited half an hour before knocking on the door. "Can I come in?" Silence followed. Yes. Sarah was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Michael sat on the edge of the bed. "Tough day." She nodded. "A girl in my class complained that her parents wouldn't let her go to Paris for vacation. She cried because she has to go to Cancun instead. I sat there listening and thinking about when my biggest problem was where to get food for dinner. Michael didn't have an easy answer for that. Their worlds were very different." "I don't fit in there," Sarah said. "I don't fit in anywhere. I'm too old to be a normal kid, too young for the adult world I worked in. I'm too educated for the streets, too inexperienced for school. Do you fit in here?" Michael said firmly, "In this house with me. And eventually, you will find people who understand and value you for who you are." In the following months, slowly, Sarah began to find her place. Not with the privileged teenagers at school, but with the teachers who recognized her exceptional intelligence, with some older classmates who admired her determination, and especially at the company, where she continued to work part-time, where her contributions were valued regardless of age. Anderson Consulting was in full recovery. The systems Sarah had helped implement were working. New clients began to appear, attracted by the renewed reputation for integrity and rigorous analysis. The company was smaller than before, but solid, more ethical, more sustainable. One afternoon, Patricia sought out Michael in his office. "I have a proposal," she said. "I want us to consider creating an internship program for youth from non-traditional backgrounds. Young people like Sarah, who have talent but lack the usual connections." Michael leaned forward, interested. "Go on." "Think about it," Patricia said, getting excited. "How many bright young people are out there, in the inner city, in shelters, even on the streets, who will never have a chance to show their potential because no one looks beyond their circumstances. If Sarah hadn't approached you that day, all that talent would have been wasted. And do you think we could identify and develop more young people like that?" Michael asked. "With the right structure? Yes. Partnerships with public schools, shelters, community organizations. We identify youth with aptitude for finance. We offer mentorship, training, real job opportunities. Not charity, but investment in untapped talent." Michael felt excitement growing. "It's a brilliant idea, but we would need someone to lead this. Someone who understands both the business side and the challenges these young people face." "I'm looking at her right now," Patricia said with a smile. "Sarah, of course, when she's older and has more experience, but eventually, who better to lead a program like this than someone who has lived exactly what these young people are going through?" Michael smiled. "I'll talk to her about it, but I think she'll love the idea." That night, during dinner, Michael shared Patricia's proposal. Sarah listened in silence, her eyes growing brighter. "A program for young people like me," she said when he finished, "to give them the opportunities I had?" "Exactly, and eventually you could help lead it. Who better to understand and guide these young people than someone who has walked the same path?" Sarah was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was heavy with emotion. "When I was on the streets, I used to look at office buildings and imagine all the lives happening inside. People with purpose, with futures, with something to wake up for in the morning. I desperately wanted to be one of them, but it felt impossible. The distance was too great." She looked at Michael with tears in her eyes. "If we can bridge that distance for other young people, if we can show them that talent matters more than zip code, that would be incredible. It would give them what you gave me, hope." Michael felt pride swell in his chest. "Then let's make it happen together." And at that moment, Michael understood something fundamental. Saving Sarah hadn't just been about saving a homeless girl, it had been about saving himself from arrogance, from blind pride, from the inability to see value beyond credentials and appearances. Sarah had saved him first, and now he had the chance to help her save others. The New Opportunities program was officially launched 6 months later. Michael and Patricia worked tirelessly to structure it, establishing partnerships with 15 public schools in the inner city of New York, 4 shelters for youth, and 3 community organizations working with at-risk young people. The idea was simple but powerful. Identify youth between 15 and 18 with aptitude for finance, math, or data analysis, regardless of their personal circumstances. Offer individual mentorship, hands-on training, and eventually paid internships at Anderson Consulting or partner companies. Sarah was at the center of it all. Despite being only 15, she helped create the selection criteria, developed part of the training material, and insisted that the program include not just professional development, but also support. Sarah was discussing psychological support and assistance with basic needs. There's no point in teaching financial analysis to someone who is hungry, she argued during a planning meeting, or who doesn't have a safe place to sleep. We need to care for the whole person, not just their professional skills. The first selected group had 12 youths. Michael would never forget the day he met them. They arrived at the office on a Saturday morning, brought by social workers and teachers. Some were nervous, others suspicious, all clearly out of their comfort zone in that sleek corporate environment. Sarah personally welcomed them at the reception. Michael observed from a distance, seeing how she immediately established a connection with each one. She spoke to them, not from above, but as equals. She briefly shared her own story, showing that she understood where they came from, that she wasn't there to judge them, but to help them. One of the youths, a skinny 17-year-old named Luke, had spent 2 years living in shelters after his mother had to be hospitalized for severe mental health issues. He had an exceptional knack for numbers, but zero self-confidence. During the first week of training, he barely spoke, staying in the corner of the room as if he expected to be kicked out at any moment. Sarah worked patiently with him, showing her own mistakes when she was learning, validating his successes, creating a safe space for him to ask questions without fear of looking stupid. Gradually, Luke began to open up. One afternoon, Michael found them working together on a complex spreadsheet. Luke was explaining a cash flow analysis concept, his hands moving animatedly as he spoke. Sarah listened with genuine attention, asking questions that encouraged him to go deeper. "You understand this better than I do," Sarah said. "Your way of visualizing the numbers is unique." Luke blushed, but smiled a genuine smile that completely transformed his face. "I like to think of numbers as a story. Each column tells what happened. Each row shows where things are going." "Exactly," Sarah confirmed. "That's how the best analysts think. You have real talent for this, Luke." Michael felt emotion tighten his throat. He was watching. Sarah do for Luke what he had done for her, giving hope, validation, the fundamental message that talent mattered more than circumstances. There was also Mary, a 16-year-old girl from the Upper East Side, who took care of her 3 younger siblings while her mother worked 2 jobs. She had a knack for spotting patterns in data, but was always exhausted, torn between family responsibilities and the program. Patricia worked with her to develop a support system. The company hired someone to help with Mary's siblings a few afternoons a week, giving her time to study and develop. It wasn't charity, Patricia explained. It was an investment in talent that would otherwise be lost. And there was Rodrigo, an 18-year-old who had grown up in shelters and had a history of rebellious behavior. Teachers had dismissed him as problematic, unable to concentrate. But Frank, the analyst who had initially doubted Sarah, saw something different. "He's not incapable of concentrating," Frank said after working with Rodrigo for 2 weeks. "He concentrates intensely, but only on things he considers relevant. When engaged with a problem that matters to him, he is incredibly focused. Frank began to present financial concepts through real cases that connected with Rodrigo's life: cost-benefit analysis of everyday decisions, personal financial planning, how to understand if advertisements were misleading. Rodrigo absorbed everything voraciously. One Saturday, 3 months after the program began, Michael organized a presentation where each youth would have to analyze a real company and present investment recommendations. He invited some clients from the consulting firm to watch, wanting to showcase the talent they were developing. Luke was the first to present. He had chosen a tech company, and his analysis was meticulous, identifying both strengths and vulnerabilities that many professional analysts would have missed. His voice still trembled a bit at the beginning, but as he spoke about the numbers, his confidence grew. When he finished, Andrew Thompson, the client who had offered the scholarship for Sarah, raised his hand. "Can I ask a question?" Luke nodded, clearly nervous. "Did you consider the impact of potential regulatory changes?" Andrew asked. "It's an important factor for tech companies." Luke took a deep breath. "Yes, sir. I dedicated the third section of the analysis to regulatory risks. I identified 3 areas where legislative changes could negatively impact the business model, and 2 where favorable changes could create growth opportunities." Andrew smiled. Impressive. Many professional analysts don't do such comprehensive contextual analysis. Mary presented an analysis of a retail chain, focusing on how to understand a company's financial health through operational indicators. Rodrigo chose a construction company and surprised everyone with insights on how economic cycles affected the industry. After the presentations, while serving coffee and snacks, Michael watched the youths interacting with the clients. Some were still shy, others gaining confidence, all clearly growing beyond what they thought was possible. Andrew approached Michael. "What you're doing here is transformative. These youths have real talent. They've always had it." Michael replied, "They just needed the opportunity to show it." "I want to be more actively involved in this," Andrew said. "My network of schools can offer scholarships for program participants who want to continue their studies, and I know other business people who would be interested in supporting or replicating this initiative." Michael felt deep gratitude. It would be amazing. The more youths we can reach, the better. That night at home, during dinner, Sarah was radiant. "Did you see Luke today? He was so confident and so sure of himself. 3 months ago, he could barely look people in the eye." "I did," Michael said, smiling, "and I saw you working with him, building that confidence step by step. You have a gift for this, Sarah, for seeing potential in people and helping them see it too." Sarah was quiet for a moment. "You know what I realized today? I'm doing what my father did. He didn't just analyze. Adaptações. Helena. Sarah. Números. Numbers. Mãe. Mother. Jovens. Youth. Escola. School. História. Story. Programa. Program. Coração. Heart. Mãe. Mother. Tristeza. Sadness. Café. Coffee. Sanduíches. Sandwiches. Coração acelerado. Heart racing. Mãe. Mother. Tragédia, tragedy, dificuldades, challenges, mundo, world, futuro, future, experiência, experience, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, família, family, caminho, path, oportunidade, opportunity, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, estudantes, students, professores, teachers, mentores, mentors, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda. Help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, sucesso, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenge, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso e success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potential, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, the challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, de skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, the challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, futuro, future, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potential, ajuda, help, oportunidade, opportunity, sucesso. Emily's value lies in being herself. Her intelligence, empathy, determination, these exist independently of what has happened to her. But she gave me this opportunity because I warned her about her business, Emily argued. Why was I helpful? What if I... Stop being helpful? What if I disappoint you? Michael took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. Do you think I would continue to care for you just as long as you were helpful? Do you think my love for you is conditional? The word love hung in the air. It was the first time Michael had used it explicitly. He saw Emily register this, her eyes widening. I love you like a daughter, Michael continued, his own voice becoming emotional. Not because you saved my business, not because you have a dramatic story, not because you are exceptionally intelligent. I love you because you are you, because we have dinner together and you make terrible jokes, because you leave books scattered all over the house, because you deeply care about other people, because when you truly smile, it lights up the whole room. Emily sobbed. But what if I'm not good enough? What if I can't live up to everything you've invested in me? Michael stepped closer and hugged Emily tightly. You don't need to live up to anything. There is no standard you need to meet to deserve love, family, home. Those things are yours by right, not by merit. But I'm so scared, Emily admitted against his shoulder. Scared of failing, scared of disappointing, scared of losing everything again. I wake up every morning thinking all of this will disappear, that I'll wake up on the street again and find out it was just a dream. Michael held her tighter. I understand the fear. But running away from school, isolating yourself, that won't protect you. It will only create exactly the scenario you fear. They stayed like that for a long time. Emily crying against Michael's shoulder, he simply held her, letting her release years of accumulated pain, unprocessed fear, trauma that she never had a safe space to express. Finally, Emily pulled away a little. I need help, she said softly. Professional help. I think I'm experiencing depression or something like that. I wake up not wanting to do anything. I pretend to be fine all day, but inside it's all dark. Michael nodded. We'll find an excellent therapist for you, someone specialized in trauma and grief. And in the meantime, I want you to know that you can talk to me about anything at any time. You don't have to pretend to be okay. I'm so scared of being a burden, Emily whispered. You are not a burden, Michael said firmly. You're my daughter, and parents are here exactly for moments like this, when life gets too heavy to carry alone. In the following days, Michael cancelled appointments to spend more time with Emily. They found a specialized therapist named Dr. Smith, who began working with Emily twice a week. Michael also attended some sessions, learning how to best support her. The school was informed and showed understanding, allowing Emily to do some homework temporarily while she stabilized emotionally. The teachers, who knew her, sent messages of support, reminding her that she was valued not just for her grades, but as a person. One evening, a week after the crisis, Patricia showed up at Michael's house with dinner ready and a bottle of wine. I came to check in. How are you both, she said, and to bring real food because I know you can't cook. They had dinner together, the three of them, and Patricia told funny stories from the office that made Emily laugh for the first time in days. After dinner, while Michael washed the dishes, Patricia and Emily chatted in the living room. "Can I tell you something?" Patricia said. "When I was 22, right after I graduated, I had a nervous breakdown. I couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. I thought I had failed, that I wasn't strong enough, that everyone had been wrong about me." Emily looked at her in surprise. "You? But you're one of the most confident people I know." "I am now," Patricia said, "but it took a lot of work to get here. Therapy, medication for a while. Learning that asking for help is not weakness, but courage." She smiled at Emily. "What you're going through doesn't make you any less capable or valuable. It makes you human, and recognizing that you need help makes you wise." That conversation marked another turning point. Emily began to understand that strength wasn't never falling, but getting back up after falling, that vulnerability wasn't weakness, but honesty about human limitations. Therapy helped. Dr. Smith worked with Emily on unprocessed grief, abandonment trauma, and building identity beyond survival. Gradually, Emily began to find aspects of herself that existed independently of her tragic history. She discovered that she enjoyed gardening, spending hours tending to the plants. In the garden, she found a talent for drawing, sketching landscapes and faces in notebooks during therapy sessions. She discovered that she loved cooking, experimenting with recipes on weekends with Michael as a willing participant. A month after the crisis, Emily returned to the program. The youth welcomed her with genuine joy. Luke, in particular, hugged her tightly. "We were worried about you. It's not the same without you here." "I missed you too," Emily said. "And I realized something." She looked at all the youth gathered. "I don't need to be perfect to help you. I can just be human, with problems and doubts, and still make a difference. In fact, maybe it's better this way because you see that it's possible to struggle and still keep going, still grow." Mary smiled. "It helps us more than you imagine, knowing that even you, who seem to have it all figured out, also struggle sometimes. It makes our own problems seem less daunting." Emily felt something resolve within her. She didn't need to be a superhero. She could just be Emily, with all her imperfections, and still be valuable, still be loved, still capable of making a difference. That night, at home, she found Michael on the balcony looking at the stars. Can we sit?" she asked. "Sure." They enjoyed a comfortable silence for a moment. Finally, Emily said, "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up on me when it got tough. For loving me even when it wasn't easy. For showing me that family means being there in the worst moments, not just the best." Michael took her hand. "I will always be there, Emily, on the good days and the bad. That's what being a father means, and it's a privilege to be your father." Emily rested her head on his shoulder. "So I'm officially your daughter now, not just a ward." Michael smiled. "The adoption paperwork is almost complete. In a few weeks it will be official. Emily Johnson." Emily felt tears of happiness. "Sounds good. Sounds like home." The adoption ceremony was scheduled for a Thursday morning at the Central Courthouse in New York. Michael had invited only close people. Patricia, Mark, Henry, Frank, Andrew Thompson, Dr. Smith, and Beatrice from the Child Protective Services were present. Luke, Mary, and Ryan also attended, representing the youth from the program. Emily wore a simple, yet elegant navy blue dress, her hair in a low bun. She looked older than her 15 years, with a maturity in her eyes that came from having lived a lot in a short time. But there was also something different, a lightness that hadn't been there before, a result of months of therapy and finally allowing herself to be vulnerable. Michael was nervous, adjusting his tie for the 10th time as they waited to be called. Emily noted and took his hand. "Is everything okay?" she said with a smile. "It's just formality. We are already a real family." I know, Michael replied, but I want it to be perfect. You deserve it to be perfect. It's already perfect, Emily said, because we are together. When they were called, they entered the judge's chamber. It was a sober yet welcoming space, with wood-paneled walls and a large window letting in natural light. Judge Henry Albuquerque, a man in his 60s with grey hair and a gentle expression, welcomed them with a smile. Mr. Johnson, Ms. Ferreira, welcome. Please, have a seat. They settled into the chairs before the judge's desk. Michael felt Emily's hand tremble slightly in his and squeezed it reassuringly. The judge opened the folder in front of him and began reviewing the documents. I read the entire process with great attention, he said, and I must say, this is one of the most extraordinary cases I have encountered in my 25 years in the judiciary. He looked at Emily. Young lady, you have lived circumstances that would have destroyed many people, but you not only survived, you thrived. And more impressively, you are using your experience to help other youth. That speaks volumes about your character. Then he turned to Michael, and Mr. Johnson not only welcomed Emily, but allowed her to transform his life and his business. He created a program that has already impacted dozens of youth and has the potential to impact hundreds more. That also speaks about who you are. Michael felt emotion tighten his throat. Thank you, Your Honor. But I need to make it clear that Emily has transformed me as much as I have helped her. Maybe more. The judge smiled. That's how family should work. Mutual transformation, joint growth. He picked up a pen. Before signing the final documents, I want to ask each of you a question. He looked first at Emily. Emily, do you understand that the adoption is permanent, that Michael will be legally your father with all the rights and responsibilities that entails, that you will be Emily Johnson? Emily nodded, her voice firm. Yes, Your Honor, and that is exactly what I want. Michael has given me not just a home, but a family. He taught me that love is unconditional, that worth doesn't have to be earned, that belonging somewhere is a right, not a privilege. I want to be officially his daughter. The judge nodded and turned to Michael. And you, Michael, do you understand that you are taking full responsibility for Emily, that you will be committed to her well-being for the rest of her life, regardless of the challenges that may arise? I fully understand, Michael said, his voice filled with emotion. And there is nothing I want more. Emily is not just my daughter legally, she is already my daughter in my heart. This is just formalizing what already exists. The judge took the documents and began to sign. Then, by the authority vested in me by the state of New York and the laws of the United States, I declare the adoption process concluded. Emily Johnson is now officially Emily Johnson, daughter of Michael Johnson, with all the rights, responsibilities, and bonds that this entails. He extended his hand first to Michael, then to Emily. Congratulations to both of you. May you be very happy together. Emily threw herself into Michael's arms, crying openly. Michael hugged her tightly, his own tears flowing freely. We have a family, he whispered, for real, forever. When they left the judge's chamber, they were greeted with applause from the small group that had come to support them. Patricia had tears in her eyes. Frank was smiling widely. Luke, Mary, and Ryan were clearly emotional, hugging each other as they witnessed that moment. Andrew Thompson approached and shook Michael's hand. This is beautiful, and I want to take this opportunity to make an announcement. I have decided to create a permanent fund for the New Opportunities Program. $5 million initially to ensure that the program can continue and expand regardless of economic fluctuations. Michael was taken aback. Andrew, that's incredibly generous, Andrew smiled. It's an investment in youth, in the future, in proving that talent exists everywhere if we are willing to look for it. After the congratulations at the small lunch that Patricia had organized at a nearby restaurant, Michael and Emily finally returned home. It was early afternoon, the autumn sun creating patterns of light and shadow in the garden. Emily went straight to her room. Michael, thinking she wanted to rest, started to head to his own room when he heard her call him. "Can you come here for a moment?" He entered her room and found her kneeling by the bed, opening one of... She pulled out the shopping bag she had brought when she moved, the same bags she carried when she lived on the streets. "There's something I want to show you," she said, her voice strange. "Something I've kept all this time, but never had the courage to look at." She took a yellowed envelope from the bag. Michael noticed that her hands were trembling. Emily opened the envelope and took out a faded photo. It showed a young couple smiling at the camera, a small girl between them. The resemblance to Emily was unmistakable. "My parents," she said softly. "And I was 6 years old in this photo. It was taken in a park, on a Sunday. I remember that afterwards we had ice cream, and my dad let me stay up late watching the stars." Michael sat next to her, looking at the photo. "They look like wonderful people." "They were," Emily confirmed. "And for a long time I couldn't look at this photo because it hurt too much, because it reminded me of everything I lost. But today," she paused, taking a deep breath, "today I can look and feel gratitude too. Gratitude for having had them, even if for a short time. Gratitude for everything they taught me." She looked at Michael with shining eyes. "And I want to thank you for something." "For what?" "For letting me have 2 dads, for never trying to erase my biological father or act like he didn't exist, for understanding that I can love him and love you too, that one doesn't diminish the other." Michael felt emotion tighten his throat. "Your dad will always be your dad, Emily. He loved you, raised you, gave you values that still guide you. I'm not trying to replace him. I'm just continuing his work of taking care of you." Emily took out something else from the bag. It was the financial analysis book with her father's notes. "This is what saved me on the streets," she said. "Not just the knowledge, but the connection with them. Every time I read my dad's notes, I felt like he was still teaching me, guiding me." She opened the book, and Michael saw marked pages, notes in the margins, and careful handwriting. Emily pointed to a specific note on the last page. "My dad wrote this." She read aloud, "Remember, knowledge has value only when used to help others. Numbers are tools, but people are purpose." She looked at Michael. "I spent years thinking I knew what this meant, but I only truly understood when I started working with you, when we created the program, when I saw that we could use knowledge to transform lives." Michael remained quiet, letting her continue. "You gave me more than a home," Emily said. "You gave me purpose again. You showed me that I can honor my parents not just by remembering them, but by living the values they taught me. You gave me family without asking me to forget the family I lost." She carefully placed the photo and the book back in the bag. "I'm going to keep all this, not hidden, but as part of my story, because now I understand that my past and my present don't need to be at war. They can coexist. I can honor who I was and celebrate who I'm becoming." Michael hugged Emily. "Your parents would be so proud of you, of what you've survived, of how you've helped others, of who you've become, despite everything." Emily pulled back a little, looking into his eyes. "Can I call you Dad?" "No, stepdad. No, just Dad." Michael felt tears streaming freely. "Please, there's nothing I want more." "Dad," Emily said, testing the word, savoring it. "My dad." "My daughter," Michael replied, his voice breaking with emotion. "My dear daughter." They embraced for a long time, 2 survivors of their own tragedies, finding healing in each other. Michael had lost his father and nearly destroyed his legacy. Emily had lost her parents and almost lost herself on the streets. But together, they had built something new, not replacing what was lost, but honoring it through how they lived, how they loved, how they helped others. That night during dinner, Emily made an announcement. "I've made a decision about my future." Michael looked up, interested. "Yes?" "I want to study psychology in addition to finance," she said. "I want to understand not just numbers, but people. I want to be able to help youth, not just professionally, but emotionally as well. I want to be for them what Dr. Smith was for me, what you were for me, someone who sees beyond circumstances and recognizes potential." Michael smiled. "I think that's a brilliant idea, and it fits perfectly with the program." Emily nodded. "Exactly. Imagine if we could offer not just professional training, but also integrated emotional support. Helping youth process trauma while developing skills would be revolutionary." "Then let's do it," Michael said, "together, as always." Emily smiled, a complete and genuine smile that lit up her whole face. Together, as family. And at that moment, Michael knew that everything they had been through, every hardship, every tear, every moment of doubt, had been worth it, because it had brought them to this place of love, purpose, and renewed hope. 3 years later, on a sunny November morning, Emily stood on the stage of Harvard University. At 18, she had become a recognized spokesperson for the New Opportunities Program, and that day she was presenting the results of 3 years of work to an audience of business people, educators, and policymakers. Michael was in the front row, next to Patricia Thompson, and surprisingly, Old Johnson, the client who had terminated the contract 3 years ago, but had now returned not just as a client, but as an investor in the program. Emily began her presentation without nervousness, her voice clear and confident. 3 years ago, the New Opportunities Program started with a simple question. How many talents are we wasting because we don't look beyond codes, zip codes, and socio-economic circumstances? She clicked to the next slide, showing impressive statistics. Since then, we've worked with 120 youth from vulnerable backgrounds. 78% completed the program. 62% are currently employed or attending college. 15 started their own businesses, and more importantly, adaptações. Julia, Rodrigo, Ryan, abrigo, shelter, família abusiva, abusive family, matemática, math, assistente, assistant, programa, coquetel, cocktail reception, secretário de Educação do Estado, State Education Secretary, pais biológicos, biological parents, pai, father, mãe, mother, 3 anos, 3 years, depressão, depressão, história trágica, tragic history, terapia, therapy, reconciliação, reconciliation, futuro, future, jovens, youth, programa Novas Oportunidades, New Opportunities Program, mãe, mother, pai, father, coquetel, cocktail reception, 3 anos, 3 years, história, story, mãe, mother, pai, father, história trágica, tragic history, depressão, depression, 3 anos, 3 years, história, story, programa, mãe, mother, pai, father, história, story, 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 mãe, mother, pai, father, história. Eu brilho story e mãe é de mother, pai e father, história, o story, mãe, e mother, pai e father, história, story, mãe, e mother, e pai, the father, história, story, mãe, e mother, e pai, the father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai, 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 father, história, story, mãe. Na lenda si mother, ng pai kasin father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai, 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 father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai e father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai e father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai, 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 father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai. IBAN de father, história, story, mãe, mother, pai, 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 father, história, story, mãe. Da minha be betekent história, de story. Na mi bris de bedider, de be, de beder, história, but de story, dat me, bedir, de be, de dider, história, be de story, but de dider, today, de bedider, história, de story, but be, deer, de base, de beder, história, de story, me, de bider, de pay, de base, en taver, história, de story, de me, de bider, de pay, de tider, história, de story, de me, de bider, el pay, de bider, história, no story, mãe, mother, pai, father, história, 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 story, mãe, mother, pai, adaptações, Helena, Emily, Rafael, Michael, Teresa Cardoso, Teresa Johnson, USP, Harvard University, Reishu, Largo da Batata, Central Park, Programa Novas Oportunidades, New Opportunities Program, Mãe, Mother, Jovens, Youth, 5 anos, 5 years, 5 anos atrás, 5 years ago, Homem Arrogante, Arrogant Man, Menina Pobre, Poor Girl, História, Story, Transformação Mútua, Mutual Transformation, Sociedade de Society, Talentos Extraordinários, Extraordinary Talents, Jovens Participantes do Programa, Youth Participants in the Program, Famílias, Families, Educadores, Educators, Autoridades, Authorities, Cerimônia Especial, Special Ceremony, Plaque Comemorativa, Commemorative Plaque, Mãe, Mother, 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 Mãe, Battery mile, 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 battery mãe, mother, 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 my.
Hey, mother, then, my listen, mother, nine, my listen, mother, nation, my nation, mother, sin, my listen, the mother, sin, my sin, our mother, sin, the my sin, the mother, sin, my sin, mother, sin, in my sin, man, mother, sin, my sin, our mother, sin, in my listen, mother, sin, my sin, in mother, sin, the my listen, mother, sin, my listen, mother, sin, my mother, sin, my mother, sin, my mother, 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 mother,
Mother, mine, 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 mother. Mine Jerry to mother, then my mother, to my mother, my the mother, my 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 thy mother, my thy mother, my thy mother, thy my the mother, my thy mother, my the mother, not my, not a mother, man, my mother, not my, thy mother, man, my the mother, cat, my thy mother, the my man, the mother, mine, the mother, my the mother, my the mother, my the mother, mine, the mother, mine, na mother, mine, zan mother, na mine. In butter sin as in steady my, the mother seed my, is mother seed my, good mother to see my, that mother sees did my, the mother seed is my, there's mother seed to my, the she mother is seed my, the mother shinted my, miss mother is sees in my, the mother is in my, your mother's received my, the mother sees in my, your mother sees in my, the mother sees in my, the mother sees in my, your mother sees in my, your mother sees in my, your mother in my, your mother, my, use mother in my, the mother is my, mother sees in my, your mother is in my, the mother is in my, mother in my, the mother is in my, mother is in my, your mother, the my, your mother, my, mother is my, the mother, my, the mother, my, 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 the mother, my, mother, my 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 de mother, my 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 mother. Adaptações: Rafael Mendonça, Michael Anderson, Helena, Emily, pai, father, mãe, mother, mãe biológica, biological parents, Jardim, Garden, Lucas, Luke, Mariana, Mary, Rodrigo, Ryan, Fernando, Frank, Patrícia, André Tavares, Andrew Thompson, café, coffee, sanduíches, sandwiches, pizza, história, story, música, music, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, chocolate, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, comida típica, fast food, abrigo, homeless shelter, escola, school, mercado, market, calça jeans, sacolas plásticas, shopping bags, abrigo, homeless shelter, coração acelerar, heart racing, verificações de antecedentes, background checks, referências profissionais e pessoais, professional and personal references, limpas, clear, privacidade e segurança adequadas, adequate privacy and security, se sente segura e valorizada, feel safe and valued, recomendando tutela temporária imediata, recommending immediate temporary guardianship, processo de adoção a ser iniciado, adoption process to be initiated, cabeça, head, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, história, story, transformação, transformation, mútua, mutual, caneta, pen, assinar, sign, documentos finais, final documents, permanente, direitos e responsabilidades, rights and responsibilities, família de verdade, real family, parabéns, de congratulations, felizes, happy, abraços, hugs, chorando, crying, abraço apertado, tight hug, momento, moment, anúncio, announcement, fundo permanente, permanent fund, milhões, million, garantir, insure, expansão, expansion, flutuações econômicas, economic fluctuations, incrivelmente generoso, incredibly generous, congratulações, congratulations, restaurante próximo, nearby restaurant, início de tarde, early afternoon, sol de outono, autumn sun, padrões de luz e sombra, patterns of light and shadow, quarto, room, pensando, thinking, descansar, rest, chamá-lo, call you, ajoelhada, kneeling, abrindo, opening, universidade, university, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto de project, caminhos e path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, história trágica, tragic, history, terapia, therapy, medicação, medication, colapso nervoso, nervous breakdown, 2, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, história, story, transformação, transformation, mútua, mutual, caneta, pen, assinar, sign, documentos finais, final documents, permanente, permanente, direitos e responsabilidades. Rights and responsibilities, família de verdade, real family, parabéns, congratulations. Felizes, happy, abraços, hugs, chorando, crying, abraço apertado, tight hug, momento, moment, anúncio, announcement, fundo permanente, permanent fund, milhões, million, garantir, insure, expansão, expansión, flutuações econômicas, economic fluctuations, incrivelmente generoso, incredibly generous, congratulações, congratulations, restaurante próximo, nearby restaurant, início de tarde, early afternoon, sol de outono, autumn sun, padrões de luz e sombra, patterns of light and shadow, quarto, room, pensando, thinking, descansar, rest, chamá-lo, call you, ajoelhada, kneeling, abrindo, opening, universidade, university, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, história trágica, tragic history, terapia, therapy, medicação, medication, colapso nervoso, nervous, breakdown, 2, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, história, story, transformação, transformation, mútua, mutual, caneta, pen, assinar, sign, documentos finais, final documents, permanente, permanent, direitos e responsabilidades, rights and responsibilities, família de verdade, real family, parabéns, congratulations, felizes, happy, abraços, hugs, chorando, crying, abraço apertado, o the tight hug, momento, moment, anúncio, announcement, fundo permanente, permanent fund, milhões, million, garantir, ensure, expansão, expansion, flutuações econômicas, economic fluctuations, incrivelmente generoso, incredibly generous, congratulações, congratulations, restaurante próximo, nearby restaurant, início de tarde, early afternoon, sol de outono, autumn sun, padrões de luz e sombra, patterns of light and shadow, quarto, room, pensando, thinking, descansar, rest, chamá-lo, call you, ajoelhada, kneeling, abrindo, opening, universidade, university, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, história trágica, tragic history, terapia, therapy, medicação, medication, colapso nervoso, nervous breakdown, 2, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos e friends, casa, home, história, story, transformação, transformation, mútua, mutual, caneta, pen, assinar, sign, documentos finais, final documents, permanente, direitos e responsabilidades, rights and responsibilities, família de verdade, real family, parabéns, congratulations, felizes, happy, abraços, hugs, chorando, crying, abraço apertado, tight hug, momento, moment, anúncio, announcement, fundo permanente, ele permanente fund, milhões, million, garantir, ensure, expansão, expansión, flutuações econômicas, economic fluctuations, incrivelmente generoso, incredibly generous, congratulações, congratulations, restaurante próximo, nearby restaurant, início de tarde, early afternoon, sol de outono, autumn sun, padrões de luz e sombra, patterns of light and shadow, quarto, room, pensando, thinking, descansar, rest, chamá-lo, call you, ajoelhada, kneeling, abrindo, opening, universidade, university, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, idealize clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, história trágica, tragic history, terapia, therapy, medicação, medication, colapso nervoso, nervous breakdown, 2, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão and television, internet, jogos and games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos e friends, casa, home, história, story, transformação, transformation, mútua, mutual, caneta, pen, assinar, sign, documentos finais, final documents, permanente, direitos e responsabilidades, rights and responsibilities, família de verdade, real family, parabéns, congratulations, felizes, happy, abraços, hugs, chorando, crying, abraço apertado, tight hug, momento, moment, anúncio, announcement, fundo permanente, permanent fund, milhões, million, garantir, ensure, expansão, expansion, flutuações econômicas, economic fluctuations, incrivelmente generoso, incredibly generous, congratulações, congratulations, restaurante próximo, nearby restaurant, início de tarde, early afternoon, sol de outono, autumn sun, padrões de luz e sombra, patterns of light and shadow, quarto, room, pensando, thinking, descansar, rest, chamá-lo, call you, ajoelhada, kneeling, abrindo, opening, universidade, university, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, API adaptações, Rafael, Michael, Helena, Emily, Jardine, Garden, Coberta, Blanket, Lucas, Luke, Mariana, Mary, Rodrigo, Ryan, obrigado, thank you, pai, dad, mãe, mom, praça, park, história, story, cálculos, calculations, cicatrizes, scars, força, strength, propósito, purpose, compaixão, compassion, coração, heart, café, coffee, sanduíches, sandwiches, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, jogos e games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, the challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, unconfidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança. Nomes: hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, Masters e Consulting Firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, televisão, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacação, esportes, reports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, mãe, mother, irmãos, siblings, assistentes sociais, social workers, professores, teachers, jovens, youth, reunião de planejamento, planning meeting, história, story, programa, program, sala, room, sistema de apoio, support system, investimento, investment, talento, talent, oportunidade, opportunity, apresentação, presentation, clientes, in clients, consultoria, consulting firm, análise, análises, números, numbers, confiança, confidence, tarefa, task, desempenho, performance, resultado, result, projeto, project, caminho, path, futuro, future, crescimento, growth, sucesso, success, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial, potencial, coração, heart, sorvete, ice cream, pizza, pizza, chocolate, chocolate, música, music, livros, books, filmes, movies, televisão, television, internet, internet, jogos, games, férias, vacation, esportes, sports, atividades, my activities, amigos, friends, casa, home, sorriso, smile, esperança, hope, transformação, transformation, mundo, world, futuro, future, sucesso, success, crescimento, growth, comunidade, community, desenvolvimento, development, experiência, experience, conhecimento, knowledge, habilidades, skills, desafios, challenges, conexão, connection, potencial,